Hello, folks. So, today we are going to talk about, um, you know, what do I call this? Hacking HTTP client. Oops, okay. So, we're going to talk about how to probably hack a HTTP client, and so what I mean by this, we'll get into that, and what other terms can I use for this? Uh, Hacking, or let's say betraying HTTP client, conning HTTP client. I think you get the point. So I'm just trying to con it, yeah. So make it believe about something that I want it to believe. Yeah. Uh, so yeah. So what is the context here? So recently I was trying to come up with solutions for building a license server to license my application that I'm going to build. So when thinking about my license server, I was thinking how will my application, which is running on a computer, so application is running on the computer, and so it will contact the license server to validate the license key entered by the user. So can this process be hacked? Can a user bypass and get into the application by uh, s- you know spoofing the licenser, more like cracking the system, cracking the whole system basically, uh, as in, so now they can the goal is user wants to just use the application for free uh, without any license, or just game the system even if they have license, uh, to maybe extend the license or whatever, right? So I was thinking, how can the user game the system, right? Any possible ways? Uh, so when thinking about this, I was just coming to the root of the problem, which is, let's say my application which is running locally in a computer, uh, running locally in a computer, how will it access the license server? So I was thinking the most usual basic thing. Yeah, it will be a network, yes, through the network, yeah. Uh, Maybe HTTP protocol or HTTPS protocol for security. And yeah, that's it. So how can the user game the system now? Um, so let's say I am using HTTPS. It's very secure. So user cannot tap the information that the application sends the server, right? Uh, so so how can they game the system now? It's all HTTPS. It's all secured. Let's just say, one second, I'll just save this, call this gaming system. I want to game a system here. I want to. So how can the user know game system if it's all secure, right? So let's just look at it this way. They cannot tap the information, yes, because it's secure. Only the application or the server can read the information that's being communicated. So what can they do, right? So if you think about it, they can do something. For example, what if the user knows the API of the system? They somehow know the APIs of the system. Let's say the API is public, which is questionable, yeah. But let's just say, okay. So now they know the APIs of the system. They know how the server responds. So if they know this, what can they do? What if they could spoof the server? Spoof the server that's online. Is that possible? Well, we'll see now. So what does it mean to spoof a server, right? So let's say I'm going to take an example now. So I've checked this out. It's a real website called recres.in, https://recres.in, and they provide a fake data endpoint. Let's take an example. For a single user, this is the API. Let's just assume that the above is the API of our license server, right? So let's see if we can spoof this, right? So what does it mean? So I am going to use curl in my local system, curl, and call this, okay? So I can see that okay, so I was using JQ, it's a tool. So if you notice, I am calling the curl command with this URL, API URL, and this request goes and I get this response. So this is from the actual server. Can I do one? Yep, I can do one. Can I do three? I can do three. So let's just take two for now. Yeah, just an example. So can I spoof the response that the server sends me, right? So let's see. So how am I going to do it? Spoof it, that is. So the idea is this. For the client that I'm using is curl. Could be anything. So I am and it runs in my local. Yes, that's what I want. So that's the use case. Con the curl command is the idea. So I have to con the curl, con the HTTP client. So and how I'm going to do that? I'm going to spoof the server. I'm going to make sure that curl does not access the real. Make sure curl does not access the real recres.in site. or API and instead accesses my spoof server. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's see how to do that. So if I'm going to spoof the server, I'm going to have to, not use, I mean, I'm going to have to make sure curl is not using the actual server, yeah, right? It has to access my spoof server. So how does the access work actually? So this is how it works in a nutshell. So first, a DNS lookup happens. So curl checks, what is the IP of the, domain name, which in this case is request.in, and then accesses the server with that IP, and the protocol is based on the URL. In this case, it's HTTPS. Okay, because it's secure, and that's it. And then gets the response. So if I'm going to spoof the system, I have to stop it over here where it accesses the server with that IP, which is the IP of request, which is request.in. As you can see, let's see, what's the short version? So the two IPs for request are 104.27.134.11 and 104.27.135.11. So I don't want them to access the actual server, which is these two IPs. So I don't want them to access the actual IPs. So how do I hack the DNS? Since the application is running in my local, I'm going to make sure that I can hack the DNS. I can control what DNS server is being used and more. So let's just clearly see what that means. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get into my etc hosts file. So etc hosts file is your local DNS lookup, which is the first place where everyone looks up the domain name IP. So as you can already see, I have put some dummy domain names, and the IP is 127.0.0.1. I'm going to do the same for request.in. So this means that I'm saying the IP address of request.in is 127.0.0.1, right? So that's what I'm doing. Meaning I'm going to redirect the requests to, not redirect, just hack in and say that request.in is in my localhost. Hacking. Not really redirect, it's hacking, yeah. Because redirection means it's a complicated term, because there is redirection in HTTP, so let's leave that. So that's how I'm going to say that request is running somewhere else and not actually in the place where we saw, which is 104.137 something, right? So I'm saying that it runs in my localhost. So let's see what the browser has to say now, right? So I can see that there is a response still, even though there is no server running in my local, which I know. Let's just do Command Shift R. Okay. I'm going to actually close this and reopen my Firefox. Okay. Okay, my Firefox has reopened. Now let's just do Command Shift R. What? Rec res.in. Okay. Something's going wrong. Oh, I didn't save it. :WQ. How about now? Okay. So as you can see, I did Command Shift R, and the request to recres.in is actually not working. You can clearly see that over here, and you can see it over here too. Recres.in. So let's just do this users too, right? And now what we do is, now we have the curl telling us it cannot access the recres.in server. Now what? Let's run a spoof server, right? So now to run a spoof server in my local, I need to first use some code or web server. So and then run it. In my case, I'm going to use code. I have some Golang code in my local, which I'll show to you right now. And so that's the code. So this thing I got it from here, which is a good gist. I'll probably put this link somewhere in my YouTube video. So I got this code, and it's a HTTPS server code, and it gives hello as a response, right? So you can check it out. So, and it has some redirection and all, but I'm not going to use redirection. The port for HTTP is 80 and HTTPS is 443, the standard. And it has some keys which I used, probably, let me just say cert.pem and key.pem. So it needs two keys. This is for the HTTPS. So for HTTPS you will need certificates, right? So signed certificate, signed by certificate authority, CA, trusted CA, that too. Or else everyone will say it's a, you cannot trust it. So how do you create a trusted certificate? There is this cool tool called make cert, which you can go check it out. So I'll probably put the link to this somewhere, maybe in my YouTube description and probably in my blog. So using this tool, you can actually create certificates in your local. And especially create trusted certificates. So how does it happen, right? So the trick is make cert actually puts the CA, the local CA that it creates, CA keys that it creates in the OS keychain and makes it trusted too. So it puts it in the browser's trusted CA keys and does lots of stuff. So I have actually done that by doing this make cert -install. So you can do that, and you can see the help option. So it says install the local certificate authority. Okay. So now the thing is, in our case, we'll have to create a certificate for the domain recres.in. So let's do that. Make cert recres.in, and I'll probably vote for localhost. No, it's fine. It's recres.in is fine. Do that, and it's created. So let's see. We have some certificates for license, some fancy license server that I created before. I'm just going to move request.in key to key.pem, or maybe just copy, and request.in.pem to cert.pem, and build my Golang code and run it. Now let's go run this. Voila. Now you can see request.in working, and you can see that it's still HTTPS. It says connection verified by certificate issuer that is not okay. Well, it's pretty smart. They know that it's not recognized by Mozilla at least. So it says verified by MK-cert development CA, development certificate authority. So you can see more information over here, and let's move on to seeing what the other things have to say. So you can see that whatever I type in over here, it just gives me hello. That's because the code is written that way. So whatever the request comes, you get hello. So you can actually change the code and make it respond with anything. So now we have spoofed the HTTP client, which is in this case our Firefox browser, and you can also see how the curl command is also spoofed. API/user/water blah blah blah, whatever you give. So it does not give any errors telling it's not a verified certificate or anything. It just gives me the response. So we did that and it all worked. I just did this request.in, and that's it. Spoofed it. Run the server with the certificates. So that's how you can actually spoof the server and con the HTTP client, make it look like, hey, this is the server's response, but you're actually lying to the client. And this way someone can actually spoof a license server, and if they know what is the response of the license server, they can probably do something like, let's just say the license server gives something like license expiry, and then says May 10th 2020. I can spoof the thing and then spoof the server and then tell May 2000 and then keep using it till I die or something. Yeah. So that's something that a user can do. So yep, I wanted to share this with you folks, and that's all I had. Thank you.